There's a lot to be said about working in a place where you can get affordable childcare and domestic help. For one Australian couple, they've been able to achieve far more than they could had they been in Australia. Kylie and Daryl Platt not only run their own small businesses in Hong Kong, they each have another separate full-time job. And to top it off, they're parents as well. I caught up with them to find out their trade secret. Kylie and Daryl Platt, thanks very much for joining the program. Now, you're a husband and wife team, you're both running small businesses. Daryl, you're also a pilot, and Kylie has her own children's clothing line. How do you guys do it?
Yeah, for me it's passion. I find it's not work, it's not a job when I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. But I think we have to be very organised. We've got 3 children. And
having 2 domestic helpers definitely helps there.
Yeah, having 2 helpers at home, and so it means I can just walk out the door and go to work, and then come home when the children are at home. But yeah, I think at the end of the day for me, it's enjoying what I'm doing, so it's not work.
Daryl, how do you fly as well as run a small business?
Well, I still do the purchasing side of it, but my staff handle all the day-to-days, putting the orders together, and making sure they're all paid, etc.
And why did you start My Wineman?
Started basically because the wine tax in Hong Kong in 2007, I think it was, went from 80 to 40 and then a year later down to 0. And the Australian dollar dropped, fortunately, at the same time, down to about 5 to 1. Yet the price that everyone else, all the stores were still selling at was probably double to triple what the price was now, the equivalent of in Australia. So I approached them and said, is the price going to change? And they said, well, no, we're making good money and we're pretty happy with that. So I've started sourcing wine from Australia and bringing it in and selling it to my friends, and obviously for our own consumption. And all my friends kept saying, you've got to make a business out of this. It's just unbelievable prices. You're half or less the price. So one night I just sat down and went, well, if I put a few dollars on it and the turnovers, sell quite a few bottles here and there, well then it actually could be quite a good business in it.
How competitive was it when you first started?
It wasn't. It was very easy. It's become a lot more competitive now. More people have realised that there is a way to make money here against the big guys.
And Kylie, how hard was it starting a business like yours in homeware in a place like Hong Kong?
We started 3 years ago, and at the time there weren't that many stores like Mirth around. But since then there have been some more opening. But again, I think what keeps us going and what helps us is that we're in a big space, and it's very unusual in Hong Kong to have a mix of brands from all over in a large space. So it's become a destination. I know we're not in Central, but we're in an area where people actually make the effort to come because they know they can spend some time here and look around. So yes, initially hard and a challenge, but it's paid off. So,
were there any risks of setting up?
Yes, yeah, I think there's always risks. It was a bit of a gamble to start with because we did choose an area that's very industrial. We chose an area that's very large, so we had to fill that with stock. There's a lot of risks, but I think we've managed to overcome them. We don't have a very big advertising budget, and we never have, so we've had to rely on word of mouth, we've had to rely on social media. So we've had to rely on different ways of trying to get the word out there.
When you started your children's clothing line, was there a strategy behind that, given your location?
Not really. I've always been creative, and it was something that being in Hong Kong allowed me to be close to manufacturers. I can get my samples back in 24 hours. In Australia, I wouldn't be able to do that. It was just something that I started off very gradually, just to test the waters, more for me to be creative. And as time's gone on, it's grown, and I've gone to different trade shows, mainly in Australia, but some in London and New York. But the ones in Australia are the ones that I found have really taken off to become, quite a favourite brand for some people in Australia. So,
looking at how busy you both are, could you have done this if you were living in Australia?
Absolutely not.
No. I mean, it's, as I was saying before, it allows me to, when I am home, to be with my children and not have to worry about cooking dinner, not having to worry about doing everything else. I can focus on, once the children are home from school, I can go home, be with my children. I often say when I go to trade shows in Australia to the other people I've met there, how do you do it? How do you do what you're doing? Because I know I couldn't do it.
What advice would you give to anyone else who's considering moving to a place like Hong Kong and starting a business?
Don't be daunted. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Find something that's expensive in Hong Kong, which a lot of Hong Kong is expensive, and once you've done that, find a way to bring it in cheaper, and there's your market.
Yeah, I think in my case, start slowly. as well. Know your market, know who you're trying to sell to, and then build it up from there. And sometimes, I mean, as in my case, is I've found different directions as I've gone along. So you might start off doing one thing, and then you quickly realise what it is, what the market's like, and how you can change. So I think start slowly, but be prepared to change direction if you need to.
Or in Mirth's case, just bring in stuff that no one else in Hong Kong has.
Yeah, and different things. Yeah.
And from a business perspective, what does the future hold for both of you?
I don't know. Well, I mean, we're here for a long time. Yeah. We're here. This is our home. Business-wise, we would like to expand. I mean, I'd like to expand Mirth. I've got distributorship for a couple of brands as well, so I'd like to expand that. And being in Hong Kong enables us to do that. I can't imagine doing that in Australia. So, yeah, we're here for, and I think with you as well, the same, trying to expand more stores. Watch this space.
Yeah, expand the range for me primarily, and just ensure that I keep bringing the best quality at the best prices I can, and focusing on giving great deals to the customer.
Kylie and Daryl Platt, thanks very much for joining the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.